Hello. You will probably be wondering how you're going to reconcile your goods received, not invoice. This is assuming that, for example, upon processing of the item receipt, then you will be debiting your inventory account and crediting your goods received, not invoice account. And upon receipt of the purchase invoice, you debit the goods received, not invoice, and credit your accounts payable. And any discrepancy in there because of the price difference, your GRNI account might be off. So this is what you can do in it, including, of course, updating the cost of the inventory. All right. So as you can see here, this is just the goods received not invoice account through general ledger report, and it's zero at the moment. And this is the item that we'll be using. And yep, average cost is zero at the moment, and on hand is zero as well. Okay. So what you can do is that you can create custom price fields on the item receipts and the purchase invoice. So the purpose of this custom price field is capturing the standard price defined on item receipts and save it to this field. And this field, when the item receipt has been converted into a purchase invoice, then that custom price saved in the item receipt will move across the purchase invoice automatically. And you also have other custom fields in it, like price difference, which is essentially the original price minus the price per purchase invoice, and the absolute individual price in here, which is the positive amount of the price difference that we will be using to create um, an inventory adjustment just to increase or decrease the value. And you can also calculate the total price difference, which is essentially the original price minus the price for purchase invoice times the quantity on the invoice itself, and also the absolute value of that price difference that you may also be using in the future. I'll show you how these fields work later on. And you can create platform triggers. So with platform trigger, just like this one here, the IR detail, what it does is just copies the standard price, or the original price for item receipt to the custom price field, and that custom price field value will move automatically to your purchase invoice, which will be used to compare against the price for purchase invoice. That's the use of this item receipt. And yep, with the other IR detail here, update custom price, and the other smart event as well, just to update the price difference or update the total price difference there, and just getting the absolute value of the individual price difference or the total price difference per purchase invoice. So as what you can see, this four here are on the purchase invoice, while this one here is on item receipts. Okay, so let's have a look quickly at this one here, IR detail, which is the update of the custom price, which is your custom price field that's defined on IR item receipt detail, which is just a copy, basically, or copying the value from the unit price of the item receipt. Right, a calculation in here. Let's say price difference. So this one is just gets the custom price, which is the original price for per item receipt minus the UI price on the purchase invoice. Okay, and I'll just show you how this will work too. All right, so now let's let me just close this one here and see if it can. Okay, so smart event here. A smart event, I have two smart events. You can see here the GRNI adjustment add value. This will happen if the price per purchase invoice is greater than the price in item receipt, and just the opposite for this one here. The add value in here, meaning you're increasing the value of inventory, and this one here, and decreasing GRNI, or yep, crediting GRNI, and this one here is just debiting your GRNI account and debit crediting your inventory, just the opposite basically. And then I can just show you this one too. All right. Okay, let me just close this. All right. So with a smart event in there, what the smart event does is that you have, let's open up the smart event again, just for us to see what I mean. So if we go to platform services, smart event here, and let's look for GRNI adjustment add value. So this is applied for purchase order transaction detail. This is the transaction definition. PI. So event, you can have it just add. I just have it set here as well, just for troubleshooting. But essentially, we just would like to create this transaction on create or on post of the purchase invoice, right? So this the price difference is less than zero, which means if the price difference is negative, thus the price per purchase invoice is greater than the item receipt, then there should be adjustments basically to your um, there will be adjustment to the uh, value of the inventory and GRNI to close it out. So that's what it does here. And just using, if the price difference is zero, then use this inventory transaction definition that I showed earlier. Right, I can have there the date created. At the moment, I just defaulted to today's date, and you have other fields that you need to populate, like currency, if you're using multi-currency in there. You can use the items. So all these values are coming from, since we are actually creating, although we are creating an inventory transaction, all the values will be coming from where this information would be coming from, which would be your purchase invoice, right? So you have the item there, warehouse location, quantity, the unit, and the cost here. So remember the price difference is actually the absolute value of the individual price. You have location, department, or other dimensions that you would like to capture. Okay, so that's what it does, and just the opposite for a deduct value in it, which is, if your original price is less than your sorry, if the original price is more than the purchase invoice price. Okay, so this is just the transaction definition for add value. As what you can see here, I'm debiting inventory and crediting the GRNI account. Okay, let's create yeah, just the PI in here, the purchase invoice, just the posting that I have in here, which is debiting your GRNI and crediting your accounts payable. So let's create transaction and see this demonstration. Okay, so I previously created a purchase invoice in it. So let's have a look at the purchase invoice. So this is for that item, for the warehouse, quantity of 5, and the price is 100 per unit. Okay, and let's convert it to item receipts. Sorry, if I go to purchasing again, order here, and click convert, I want to convert it into IR. So everything is populated from the IR there, and okay, observe the line item here. So this is the price coming from the purchase order, and you have this custom price. So this is the field that we custom field that we created. So essentially, what it does is that it will just copy on post. It will just copy the information from the standard price field to this field, because this field will eventually be the basis for comparing when the purchase invoice is generated, what the original price was coming from the item receipt. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's just press this one here But before I do that, just would like to say that this custom field can just be hidden, so any user will not be able to override this at all. But I'm showing it just for the sake of ensuring that the trigger that will copy this information to this field actually works. So if I click on post, and let's view that item receipt and scroll further down, and the price per standard field is being copied now to custom price. Okay, so let's proceed. So everything will just be in one day, just for ease of reconciliation in there. But before I do that, meaning converting the item receipt to a purchase invoice, let's go back to the general ledger report. Again, this is for this current month and for the particular GRNI account and for that location. If I click on view, we will be expecting a GRNI posting of a credit to 500, so a debit to inventory, credit to GRNI. So if we have a look at the item receipts, the posting detail here is this one here. So crediting your GRNI account, which is great, right? Okay. And if you have a look at the item, let's see what it does now. And I get that item, and if you look down below here, so this item uses average as a cost method. We have available quantity of 5, we have on hand of 5, right? And we have the average cost of 100, just based on item receipt here. Okay, so let's convert the item receipt. So assume that we've already received the purchase invoice, and let's convert this into the purchase invoice. And I just would like you to um, look at the line level here first. So remember this custom price. The custom price is the one coming from the item receipt. So it's automatically moved to you because this field is shared between the item receipts transaction definition and the purchase invoice transaction definition. So this will be the basis for comparing with the price that you have in the purchase invoice. So for example, if you change this into 150, then upon post of this one here, we would have a price difference, right? Price difference between price in purchase invoice and the original price defined based on item receipt. So again, price difference in here. So custom price is minus your meaning price per item receipt minus the price per purchase invoice there. And we have the absolute individual price here, which is just uh, the the positive value of the price difference, which we will be using when we create the inventory transaction definition transaction for the adjustment. And the total price difference will be the original price minus the price for purchase invoice times the quantity. That's the price difference. And again, you may be using it in the future too, which is the absolute price difference, which is just the positive value of whatever figure that we have come up with here on total price difference. Okay, and we have platform trigger to populate all these fields, similar to your custom pricing here and item receipt. But this one here, the platform triggers apply to the purchase invoice. Okay, so let's have a look at some. Um, uh, yep. Okay, I'll just use this one here. Let's just populate the other fields there before we proceed. I'll just make it, I think 6 is fine. I'll just copy this across to the vendor document number, and I have to select Australia GST here as my tax solution. Okay, so notice again that all these fields are blank at the moment, and you have the option, of course, to have these fields hidden similar to the custom price, just for the user not to be able to override them. Right? They can just be used for your smart events, platform trigger. Okay, so let's click on post and to see what it does. All right, so now, again, I just would like to highlight that there is a difference now, $50 per unit, correct? And that has an impact with your GRNI. So if I click on post, and let's have a look at that purchase invoice quickly. And notice that you have price difference there, 100 minus 150. We have 50 and 50 as the absolute price. Total difference, which is 500 minus 750. That's 250 and absolute for 250. All right. So there's a difference for individual price of $50. As an aggregate, you have 250 because you have five quantities there. So if we have a look at the general ledger report view, you have a mismatch now of GRNI, right? So initially you have a GRNI posting the credit of 500, and upon purchase invoice is being debited for 750, which is the price of your purchase invoice. Now we need to create an inventory transaction that will increase your cost basically, right? Okay, so look at this one here. If you have a look at the inventory as well, it's yep. Okay, it's already being changed. So what it does is that if I open up this one here, we've created, remember the smart event that will create that inventory transaction. So if we go to inventory control, you have an adjustment here, and we have the GRNI add value. All right. So this is the one that has just been created for us. Okay. So you have the same quantity, right? Which is 5, and you have the cost of 50. So because of the smart event that we had earlier, if I still have that open, so it will create based on the absolute value of the individual price here, this one. So from here, so we have 50 times 5. So we have it here. 5 times 50, we have 250. Okay, so that's why if you have a look at the item here, for that location or warehouse, the average cost has changed from 100 to 150, but still same, quantity in there and available, right? Which is 5, but the average cost changed from 100, the last cost here, to 150, which is the average cost now, which is what we want, right? But more importantly as well, aside from the inventory posting, GRNI. So let's have a look what's the impact of this one here. So we can check posting details here anyways as what we've defined on the transaction definition. So it's increasing because the value of this was 250 short, right? So inventory of 250 and crediting the GRNI for 250, right? So let's have a look here at the general ledger report for GRNI account and click on view or refreshing it. Okay. So we can see here the impact first with the item receipt crediting for 500, and we have debiting it upon receipt of the purchase invoice for 250. And because of the price difference, we would like to close GRNI account as well because of the difference of the price. So it would debit the inventory and credit this account GRNI for 250. So at the end of all these transactions, the GRNI, just considering this item and those transactions that we've seen earlier, the balance of GRNI account is now zero. So it's actually cleared upon processing of all those transactions, from item receipt to purchase invoice, and the purchase invoice triggered the creation of the inventory adjustment because of the difference in the price via the smart event. And yep, and the opposite will just happen, of course, if the price is there will be if the standard price or the original price is greater than the price per purchase invoice. So it will just be the opposite. And we'll be using a separate transaction definition for that, which is the deduct value in it, which is yeah, debiting your GRNI and crediting your inventory. All right, so we've seen again that the GRNI is now cleared after all these transactions. So it's a combination of creation of custom fields, platform triggers, smart events. And hope this quick demonstration helps. Thank you.